Yeah, so I've been hearing a lot of talk about the hair bonnet, and I want to put in my, I've been paying attention. So I want to put in my few cents, my couple of red pennies, my copper coins to help the body out. I don't see anybody there yet. Yeah, so I've been hearing talk about the hair bonnet. So I want to add a few things to the community conversation. Okay, first of all, uh, we're talking about marginalizing the melanated woman further here when we're talking about all this counterproductive negative talk about the hair bonnet. Um, we want to further with this conversation. If it's going in one direction, I see it as further compartmentalizing women and melanated women and stereotyping them or stereotyping certain ones in a particular way. I have not only seen women wearing hair bonnets fighting and acting a fool, because I'm finding that that's part of the narrative is that they're trying to paint is that women who wear hair bonnets are the women who don't take care of themselves, don't take care of their children, just don't care about certain social structural things in general. And that's not so. That it shouldn't happen that this broad stereotype be painted so diligently, and I see it happening about us sisters. I know for a fact that regardless of what economic background you're from, there's an opportunity for inheriting that, a hair bonnet. Um, I've seen women in my community that dress in beautiful clothing and they wear hajjas or they wear head coverings and scarves. Um, and some of them wear makeup and some of them don't. And some of them show a little hair and some of them don't. And some of them are more modest with their beautiful head coverings and clothing, and some of them are not as modest. You know, the difference between a full hajja and maybe an Indian woman or an African woman with the jewelry and, you know, maybe the shoulders and the scarf as more of a decorative accessory, not something to hide, but still attributing her humbleness or the reminder that the Most High is there through her culture, through the head covering. But it doesn't have anything to do with her hiding the femininity that the Most High gave her, that creation gave her. And so there's all different kinds of various cultural realms that we hit when we start talking about stereotyping women that wear this hair bonnet. There's those of us women who are melanated that are el natural, and we have dreads, and we have braids, and we have afros, you know. And some of us use a straightening comb, a blowout, a hair dryer with a comb on it. Some of us use conditioners and do different things to texturize our hair and moisten it and, you know, make it do all these different things because 9 ether hair is phenomenal and we can do all these things with it. And some of it takes time. Some of it takes time to grow. Some of it takes time to tame. Some of it takes time to nurture. Some of us have lost our hair. And so we wear lots of wigs and scarves when we're not wearing our wigs. And in the community of women that are el natural, there's many of them that wear makeup. And then again, there's some of them who don't. There's many of them who don't wear even makeup, you know, and are natural to the other extent, you know, natural creams and body lotions and, you know what I'm saying? They don't put artificial things on their face, so they don't wear the makeups, you know, they went all in. And that's great too. That's a wonderful representation of melanin. But we sisters are the birthers of civilization. And so we're not meant to be clones and fit into a box, because we are an array of women who birthed all of civilization. And so we represent, in a melanated form, all realms of culture and civilization throughout the planet. So you should see a melanated woman looking like any woman on the planet. And that's non-biased. And be able to accept that sister, that sea star, as an array of light, just like you are, just a different representation. Now about the hair bonnet. There is those of us women who have children and don't have time to be running around spending the amount of time with our certain quality of hair to get it done the way that we would like it done, depending on our cultural idea of what beauty is. It may not be yours who's observing us that we have disturbed with our presentation of bonnet, you know. So we might have aggravated your constitution by being at the library dropping off a book, or at the DMV standing in that long freaking line. Okay? Some of us have children who don't have time for all that, and I've seen women with children and working. Some single mothers, other ones with spouses, natural and unnatural, garbed, hairdress, and not. Do different things with their hair when you're in a community and you see people running to get their children to where they need to go, or drop off certain things, and dinner needs to be ready, or laundry needs to be done, and shopping needs to be done. This is the real world where people don't get to take vacations, and people are literally the working poor and just doing the best they can to make it from day to day. And they present themselves the very best way that they can. They're clean. They're not in the street starting trouble. They may even be in church on Saturday or Sunday somewhere, Fridays and Wednesdays, looking their very best, or with their hair bonnet on, depending on what day of the week it is that they're sitting there with their children. The most important thing for them might be getting the word. Get the word or do my hair and fuss with these kids. Get their hair done and pop some ponytails in there and, you know, brush his little afro up. Do I have 2 hours, 3 hours to sit there with my hair? No. I'm throw this bonnet on, this scarf on, this bonnet on, and go sit there and do what I got to do. Go to the DMV, go drop that library book off, go to that class, because I just don't have the time, but I need to get done real life stuff. You know, ain't nobody paying them to be anywhere looking their best. Also want to say that there's people who will walk up to you and act like they're concerned about what's going on with you because they don't like your representation of self. And in doing so, what does that person have to offer when you interact with that person to intercede for something that you don't like, that you see as a representation for them? If you see somebody that's dirty, do you have a washing machine or some clean clothes to offer, or some new clothes to offer without being insulting? Are you there to be a help or a judge? If you see somebody and you don't like the representation of their hair, do you have the budget to invite them, that sister, to a basic weave or press and curl or a basic braids that she can manage, or hairstyle she can manage with those children, or that job, or just whatever it is that she's doing, since you don't like the way that she looks? You know, if beauty is a sign of health for you, and you see many opportunities where you see the melanated woman kind of fraying at the edges in regards to your depiction of beauty, then rather just to state your depiction of beauty as a real sister and a friend, when you have an obligation to actually see that she can meet those standards if she chose to, since it's such a problem to you? Perhaps some neighborhood braiding shops, depictions of beauty, you know, share the wealth kind of thing, since beauty is wealth to you. I never learned how to braid. It would have been cool to have a little place to go to learn how to do that, so I could have learned from my daughters. I know we have YouTube and stuff, but it was a cultural thing. We've lost the hair braiding and things like that. It goes a lot deeper than wanting to see somebody look like your idea and depiction. We're supposed to see each other's idea and depiction. And then look at where we are as far as America. This is multicultural. We have melanated women from all around the world here represented. With different things that we do to our hair and different meanings, different things that it means to us. What's the name of that movie? Was it 500 Years Without a Comb? 400 Years Without a Comb? Something like that. I think, I'm not sure if that was the name exactly. But it was a really good old movie about, it had a lot of things in it about certain things that were missing. It really made you think, you know. And so some of the ideas that we have of beauty and esteem and wealth are very ancient, and it's just a part of our very blood, a part of our unconsciousness. And because we're not in touch with those things, many of us, those things are allowed to be distorted by the Eurocentric's idea of what beauty is. Now, let me tell you, usually it has to do with some kind of extortion or corruption of us, of taking essence, whether it's some kind of spiritual essence from us, whether it's the work that we do to purchase the makeups for what we think that we should be, or the clothing, or the perfumes, or the teeth polishes, the boob jobs. I'm sure even if you have your hair all together, that there's something that somebody told you that you needed to do. The other thing that was on my list of things that I just wanted to talk about, what's happening, what am I thinking about, because that was the hair bonnet thing, you know, and I just think that it's ridiculous to see all the stereotyping going on about the hair bonnet, as if there's only one type of woman that uses a freaking hair bonnet. And then if you don't like the hair bonnet, are you doing anything to help her do something besides the hair bonnet. Because if you're not, just, you know, let me see. The other thing was women saying that the the white man is making them fat. That the See, that's what happens when people listen to something and then they don't research, and then they have a platform and they have a lot of other suggestible women. Now, melanated women are the birth mothers of all civilization, so we're extremely fertile. That's why they hold us captive, and they don't want us to be truly free unless you fall under some indoctrination that profits them. Extremely fertile, as in ideas. It's very easy to implant ideas in us and for us to birth them and go do something with them, produce them. You know what I'm saying? Accentuate them. And so this idea that we need to be careful with words. We really need to be careful with words and our intentions. Um, Attention is profitable on the internet, depending on, who you are and what you're doing with it, and your connections and stuff. But this is dangerous too, because yes, the foods that are being pumped into the melanated neighborhoods, a lot of times, let me reword that. A lot of times, there's particular foods and it's directed towards the melanated people or the low income people or the poor people in the neighborhood who happen to be also melanated. Because anybody else in that environment is getting hit also and uses these services. Good day, beloved. Hey, Tabby. Anybody in that area who's using these places where we're buying these foods is also getting hit with the same kind of indoctrination. The candies and the food coloring and the high sugar. So you end up with massive rates of diabetes and things like that. So you get, as a result of eating certain types of foods, you get certain types of illnesses. And certain types of illnesses, many illnesses, are easier to come by with obesity because toxins live and hide inside the fat. And so when we choose to eat certain things and not educate ourselves about the foods that are in our neighborhoods, and we just take, because we've been indoctrinated through our churches. This is what I've been squawking about. Through our educational system in our churches and our doctor's office, we've been indoctrinated to eat it a certain way, right? And buy certain foods, and then you have the advertising whenever you watch a movie and you see the commercials. Remember when I was growing up and even raising my children, McDonald's advertising and Burger King and Taco Bell is phenomenal. Kentucky Fried Chicken, and the Colonel, driving down the highway, and how nuts your children, I don't know if they still do this because my children are grown now, go nuts when they see the golden arches. That's some serious mind control. Go nuts when they see the grease and and that whole McDonald's thing, franchise and the food and stuff. I'm not even going to go there, but just educate ourselves and to give ourselves a choice to be able to minimize some of these foods and to know what we're doing when we choose to eat these foods. and to have a choice to be able to choose other foods to counteract the foods that we ate that weren't good for us. And what to do about it. When you're eating crappy food and because it's so readily accessible and that's what you have for your budget, what can you do about it? Did the Eurocentric man at church tell you with his education? Did they tell you in the doctor's office? Hmm? Did they tell you where you're wearing, where you're not wearing your bonnet at and you're pointing at some other young woman or some other woman that has some bonnet on and you are 287 pounds, munching on some fried chicken with plenty of oils and some French fries, and you got your hair and nails done and the eyelashes and your clothes is Gucci, got your rings on, you blinging, bling, bling. So did these social institutions mention any alternatives to the foods that you're squawking about made you fat? That it's the white man that made you fat? Or is it you that trusted these institutions so implicitly that you didn't look anywhere else for any other answers? Yep. You didn't look anywhere else for any other answers because we trust them so wholeheartedly. Be like us thing, indoctrination. We don't got to worry about that sis star anymore because she's just like us. She want to be us. She's after the Joneses. She's got things. And she's got things to think about. But nothing worth anything when you're sitting there telling everybody that this and the sea of women that are sitting there just like, because we're so suggestible, because we birth things, that's what they use us for. We're gonna go, those women are gonna tell that to their children, their sons and daughters and cousins and aunts, and go share that on a conversation with some Coca-Cola and some Kentucky Fried Chicken and stuff, and not know how to clean their systems out, mind you, either. Because there's things to do to be able to counteract that also. Like, I'm on a path to betterment. I believe that thinking we can be perfect is a delusion that's best not served at all. You know, anybody that's trying to be perfect, don't wish them good luck with that. That's a nightmare. But I can do betterment all day long. From one moment to the next. I can definitely focus on trying to do something better than I did yesterday or even a few minutes before. So when I hear our brain so fixated and locked into that area where we're saying, the white man made me fat, without accepting any kind of accountability for the kinds of things that we choose to put into our own mouths, that's scary. When I see a sea of other melanated women that because you have things or affiliations are so readily willing to shake their heads and be like on the bandwagon, yeah, the white man made me fat. No, all he did is what he does with everything else. He put everything like a feast in front of you. It's there. Money is there. Did money make you fat? You needed that money to buy them Twinkies, that chicken. My weakness is pizza and candy. But I know what to do about that. I know what to do about that. because I research outside of the Eurocentric point of view. Because I know that what they're doing is getting information from a person who looks like me, because we're the birth mothers of all civilization. And then using his institutions that you sisters send your children to. You work really hard to send your sons and daughters to these institutions and colleges and places to be mentored and taught, for them to teach you that the white man is making you fat. When your child could have very well, if you believed in yourself and your own sisters, depictions of self, Mikasa Sukasa, if you could, if you only could, you would. See, they need those colleges in order to further put a stranglehold on our projecting our own self-image as a part of our own freedom. It's a part of our self-love. Accountability is a part of self-love. Hurt people, and I want to be the wounded healer. Live. I'm live. Live. And so when I hear melanated women getting on each other about hair bonnets and then saying silly things like the white man is making them fat, it makes me really, well, it doesn't make me, I choose to be concerned about it. Because I do see you as different arrangements of light. But myself. So anyway, instead of having our head so far up the systems behind, we could have our head doing our own research, finding books, you know what I'm saying, to empower ourselves. And if you don't want to empower yourself, then learn to love your freaking self and trust your sister who can help you understand some of these things further. But so I got a past. I wear a hair bonnet. I may not be sitting in your church on your Sunday pew, but I got things that you need to know. And you don't need to steal them from me. It would be beneficial for us to cohabitate and share this information so that we could be accountable for one another, because all we are is expressions of the Creator, different forms of light. And the more we accept each other, the more the cohesiveness is saying that we're accepting the Creator, because that's what made us. So, short, tall, fat, or skinny, I love you. I was 287 pounds and went through some of the stuff that I'm talking about. I have things that I can share with you, but not if we're going to keep doing the dumb stuff and we want to keep giving our keys to them. We keep giving our children to them, our knowledge to them. We keep giving what the Most High gave to us to save us to them. And then the information that I have to share with you that they keep stealing from me and then copying, and then those Caucasian people and those other foreign people will take the exact same thing that I'm doing, and from their platforms will redesign, redistribute the information. But I know, because of the way that I'm packaging the clumps of things that I'm saying to you, when it comes back and it's mirrored, where it came from. But there's nothing to show for it physically. But I know that the Most High is working and it's getting stronger and stronger. The knowledge is not going anywhere. The wisdom never dies. So, the object is to keep the balance, to keep the truth. Self-love isn't about hair and nails and hair bonnets. Self-love is about truth and sharing. Okay? So, anyway, there's plenty of videos talking about various things that can be very helpful to you if you're behind schedule and you've been listening too much to those other various establishments that have you thinking that they have that much control over your mind where they can make you fat and not your choices to eat what they put in front of us because you know no other alternative because you didn't look for one. And we're the ones choosing to continue to give them our children, and they feed them their knowledge that they actually stole from our community and our peoples. But they brainwashed us so much not to appreciate each other, not to value each other, that we wouldn't know the Most High if it was sitting on our face. We wouldn't know the Most High if it was our face. Our beautiful melanated faces. And the various beautiful arrays of melanin that we can interface with because we're here. So as long as they keep having us believe that we don't have value and they have that amount of mind control over us, they'll give you a giant platform for you to further indoctrinate other melanated women who are overweight and don't want to accept responsibility for the kind of foods they put in their mouth and don't know where to go to find the actual truth, or don't want to do the work to do something different. I was 287 pounds. And I realized that I didn't want to just lose weight. I needed to lose weight. And I'm still going through problems to this day, but I lost that other weight. I'm into betterment. I'm not carrying that other stuff around. I'm lighter. So spirit can move on my behalf because I'm not holding it back. I surrender. I am not in charge of the spiritual things that are coming at me. I have no control over what the other guy does and what he's doing. But the serenity prayer, I do have control over how I react to it. Yes, they are filling our neighborhoods full of crappy food. Yes, the body mass index is a lie and should be recalibrated according to culture, according to newfound information, um, of the new world. We can't keep carrying around our old ideas, looking for our pappy when our husband is here. The new world is here. When our mother is, when our bride is here, wisdom and knowledge to help grow us, into the next stage of our development, you know. Um, leaving the knowledge of our parents is somewhat like a child state. You know, when you go to marry your husband or wife, you go to find your fortune or fame or your wealth, you know, your inner wealth. And in order to do that, you need your bride too. You need your wisdom. So we're talking metaphysically, of course, energetically. So outside of these bodies that we keep riding so hard, the way that we look, and each man or woman that we pass by is also carrying the spirit of our bride and our husband. That's why it's sister, mother, cousin. Forget about the flesh, but spiritually, energetically, you know, either an opportunity for development, right? Like land, you know, like the male principle kind of thing, you know, to put in work and to develop something. Or the opportunity to learn, you know, and to have a spiritual growth, you know, and get closer to wisdom and the opportunities to heal and make something whole, you know. Don't waste your time here so much worrying about these dumb things that they give to us to be concerned about. There's a Jedi mind trick going on here, you know, because when you're sitting with your cousins and your uncles and your when you're sitting with your aunts and your sisters and your grandmas and your cousins, and they have their hair bonnets on and their scarves, and you guys are scratching your butt or burping or eating food, salads, or laughing and having fun and just being with each other. Are you that shallow where you're concerned about the way that I see us being depicted? You know, are you really concerned about how much wealth your cousin has, or how well her hair is done, or she has her nails done, if she's wearing eyelashes, if she got a boob job, if she went on vacation, how her bank account and her credit is? What college she went to, what fraternity, what alumni? Is she a public servant? Does she rent or buy? Is her ring bigger than yours? Is she married? Is she single? Is she Gucci? What about spirit? So anyway, that's all I got to say um, on that. Much love to you and yours. Basically, that was it. The bonnet and the white man cannot make you fat, but we can use that as an excuse and not take responsibility for the kind of things that we choose to eat and not separate the issues between, yes, our community is systematically flooded with certain types of foods and things like that. That's a one issue. But on the other hand, just like anything else, there's a way to navigate through it once we realize what's going on. There's a level of accountability. Get with it. Much love to you and yours. This is Regina's Rabbit Hole, Siren Buddha Medicine. Please feel free to donate at Life Coach 369A. That's with a lowercase l. Life Coach 369A. And visit me on YouTube at Regina's Rabbit Hole, Siren Buddha Medicine. Peace. Much love to you and yours.